Hello, my name's Jo, and this here is Nutty the Slobbit. Now, Slobbits are magical creatures. They're a little bit of sloth and a little bit of rabbit. Yeah, that's right. That makes them the perfect balance. They're actually so special they have their own book, Be More Slobbit. And look who's on the front there, Nutty. It's you. Have a look inside. Now that reminds me of a really good story. The Princess and the Witch. Once upon a time, there was a princess. She was a happy princess, and she loved nothing more than being in the palace garden. But little did she know there was a horrible witch that was watching her from the side of the garden. And she jumped over the wall and she grabbed her, taking her away and being so unkind, back to her cave, where she threw her in the back of the cave and tied her up so she couldn't escape. Now, luckily for the princess, a handsome prince was walking by and had seen the witch pulling her into the cave, and he knew he had to save her. But the witch was terrifying, so he needed help. He shouted out loud to the monster, his best friend, who was in the bushes nearby. The monster came flying to help, growling and snarling at the witch and acting like it was going to eat her. The witch was obviously scared, so looked to the sky and called for her own pet dragon. The sky darkened as the big dragon swooped down from his high perch, knowing he had a big fight to do with the monster. He came down to the earth, and the monster was there to meet him. The monster growled and roared and made it obvious he was meaning business. The dragon breathed his fire, and he breathed and breathed until his fire started running out. But the monster was still roaring his loudest with the biggest voice, and the dragon was spluttering and had run out of fire, and the monster was victorious. The witch hid at the back of the cave, trying to help her poor dragon, as the prince came forward to untie the princess and save the day. Luckily, the princess was unhurt, and she could see that the whole thing was actually quite an adventure. So she called the witch forward and said, "Witch, you can't make friends by stealing people. If you're lonely, be kind and be a good friend, and we'll all be friends with you." And even the prince agreed, and the monster, and they called up the dragon to join in, and they all had a funky dance. I hope you enjoyed that story. I always like a happy ending. It reminds me of this line in the book: share your light and share who you are with the world. You Slobbits believe that with all of us, don't you? I really hope that witch and princess can become good friends. Well, that's all for now. See you next time.